President Obama has reignited the immigration debate by promising to work to get major reform legislation passed this year. Now, with everything else on his agenda, is he literally crazy to take this up this year? Joining us now is Democratic Congressman Xavier Becerra from California. We're also joined again by Stephen A. Smith, a journalist and commentator. We're also joined by my guest co-host today, Roy Seacock. Congressman Becerra, good to see you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Carlos, for having me.
Congressman Becerra, so we know that immigration is an important issue. We know that people have tried to work on it for a number of years, but we haven't seen major reform in almost 25 years. Is it realistic to put it on the president's agenda and Congress's agenda this fall, major reform to legislation?
I don't think we have any choice, Carlos. We have a system that we know has been broken for many, many years. Anytime you have some 10 or 11 people living in the shadows, not knowing who they are, what they'll do, you need to have some sense of how to fix the system. Most of the ideas that really give you a sensible solution are out there. I think we can do it. It's just a very crammed schedule, but the president has said he's going to have a very ambitious agenda. We're going to try to work with him to make it happen.
Congressman Becerra, Stephen A. Smith has a question for you.
I'm wondering if you guys actually do have a clue on how to fix the system. Like you said, it's been bad for many, many years now. Exactly what do you think it'll take to fix it?
Stephen, the solution is pretty evident. One, you need to do better at enforcing our laws on people who can come into the country, both at the border and in the interior. Two, you have to do a better job on the interior side of making sure that employers don't give people the incentive to cross into our country without documents. And the way you do that is to not only penalize the immigrant, but to penalize those unscrupulous employers who are giving jobs to folks who don't have a right to be in the country. And then third, you deal with reality that we have some 10 or 11 million people who've been living here for years, owning homes, starting businesses, now having children who are now on to college, who don't have documents. We have to figure out a way to regularize their status, those who have earned a chance to stay here. Otherwise, what we do is we continue with a system that continues to be porous and not solve the problems. Right now, with unemployment so high, we have to figure out a way to tell Americans that if a job is created, it will be there for someone who has a right to take it.
Sounds very simple to me, but if that were the case, why has it not been fixed yet? These sounds like very, very simple solutions. What's the holdup?
There's a big issue that some keep crying out that's called amnesty. Amnesty for people who don't have a right to get anything for having broken the laws, they'll say. Well, the reality is that people did come into this country without documents. But the problem is, of course, we participated in this tango for years. We've allowed people to pick up our dishes at the restaurant, take care of our kids and our grandparents in these senior homes. We've allowed people to mow our lawns. We know that folks are here without documents. Now you can't just say all of a sudden we're going to kick them out. If they've got children who are citizens, they've got businesses and all the rest. There are people that have come here who don't have any right to be here. A lot of folks who just came into the country, people who want to do us harm. But the reality is it would take us about 2 centuries to somehow deport 10 to 11 million people. And so reality says, let's come up with a rational solution. If we can enforce our borders, be tougher on the workplace to make sure unscrupulous employers don't bring in the magnet of bringing in undocumented immigrants, we'll find a solution, and then we'll deal sensibly with the issue of those who have been here long enough. They will pay taxes, they will learn English, and if they want to then do all those things, then maybe they'll be able to stay and become citizens.
Congressman Becerra, we've got to let you go, but we know that you're a Stanford alum, and I've got to ask you if the Cardinals are going to make a return this year, either on the football field or the basketball court.
Well, let me tell you, the basketball court, they've done very well over the last several years. Football's a little tougher. We have straight-A students who are doing great jobs on the athletic field and court. I think you're going to see Stanford there all the time. NCAA will see the Cardinals wearing some kind of championship ring at some point.
I'm hopeful. Stephen A. Smith is doubtful.
Well, my definition is a national
Roy's a USC fan, so...
Well, also, talking about the sports thing, asking Obama to do immigration is like asking him to hit a home run and then steal the base and then throw a no-hitter all in the same game.
With that, we're out. Congressman Becerra, great to have you. Look forward to having you again, sir.
Thanks for having me.